Welcome to my YouTube channel. It really feels like it's been a while since I've been in front of the camera, and it has been a while, but I'm so glad that I could be here today. As you can already tell from the title of the video, I'm going to be speaking about some of the feelings that we sometimes feel that at the end of the day really influence how we view ourselves, and that is feelings of inferiority or feeling inferior. This is something that I've always been interested in, and I thought, you know what, let me just share some of the things that I've learned in the past couple of years. I do want to mention that my videos do not constitute as part of therapy. These are just things or information that can help us to say, you know, when we've identified that we have some concerns that we are struggling with, maybe it would be worth it to look for somebody, a trained professional who can help us to actually overcome those or cope with them, or learn more constructive ways that we can handle them. So this is just information sharing, and I hope that you'll find it beneficial. So as I said, we're going to be speaking about feelings of inferiority. The word inferior means we feel less than something, less than others. So that really implies that to a certain point there is more than, and then there is less than. And I've come to realize that when we feel inferior, it's because there's a standard, or there is something that we are seeing the incongruency between. That is like this one is like this, and then we feel that, oh, because this one is like this, it means that it is less than. So I'm going to share a couple of things, particularly that result or come as a result of feeling inferior. Those would be, you know, a lot of times is how we view ourselves. It can also be how we view other people, and also how we relate them in terms of relationships. And I want to mention that by me saying relationships, I do not necessarily mean one type of a relationship. This is a word that I use to as all-encompassing of different types of relationships. So whenever you hear me mentioning it, know that I'm referring to any type of a relationship. So I'm just going to share a couple of things that I think that you can tell us what makes us feel inferior. I suppose that if I haven't shared something and you do know, feel free to comment down below. But one of the biggest things that I really think, which I think I've alluded to when I began, which I think that leads to us feeling inferior, would be the comparison. Whether it's other people comparing themselves to us, or other people comparing other people to us, or even if it's just our own comparison, where we look at ourselves and we compare ourselves to other people. And there's a lot of things that we can compare ourselves to, then we feel inferior. Things like, how do we look, our looks. And by that I mean, it could be our height, it could be our complexion, it could be whether we feel that the beautiful versus ugly. It could be other things like, I'm just going to refer to my notes, our body shape. And when we compare ourselves, or when we've been compared, when we make that comparison where we say, you know, this is what I see with me, this is what I see with others, you know, I wish to be this way, but I'm this way. It can really cause us to feel less than, where we feel like, oh, because I'm not this way, it means that I'm a lesser version of what I would like to be. Something else that you know is quite important would be our intellect. I'm choosing the word intellect, but I realize that it's not the perfect word to use. Okay, I think the perfect word to use would be our cognitive abilities, particularly which are things that come out in the school setting, where we judge ourselves by, you know, my school performance, and also at the workplace, but mostly in the school setting, where if we perform well, then we say, you know, it can really make us feel better about ourselves. But when we don't perform well, then it can make us feel like, when I compare myself to how my other classmates are doing, I feel like I'm less than them in that sense. So the other thing that we can really make us feel inferior is our family structure. To someone else, it could be, I'm looking at the type of a family that I'm coming from, which is a single parent headed family, and it can just make them feel like, oh, I wish that my family looked like that one. Sometimes it could be, you are the only child, I'm the only child, and then you feel like, because I'm the only child, I feel less than other people who maybe have siblings. Sometimes it could be, the size of a family, particularly you come from a big family where you had to share things, and you are just a lot in the house, and then you look at that, you look at how other people, maybe each person has their own room, but with you, you are sharing stuff, and then it can really make you feel less than other people because of that. So, we could go on and on about the things that we compare ourselves with regards to other people, or how other people compare us to others. And these are ultimately things that they make us feel less than what we are. And unfortunately, the temptation can be to actually feel that we are less than other people, and we begin to think that way. One of the other main things that makes us feel inferior is whether we succeed or not, so our failures. And these are failures that can be defined by other people to say, when you do this, it means that you are a success. Sometimes it can also be failures about, if I don't do this, it means that I have failed. And then it can really make us feel like we are less than the people who have achieved those things. The same with the possessions, things that we own. What type of a car you drive, what type, I know nowadays the type of phone that people use is quite important as well. Just different things that, can make different people feel inferior. So unfortunately, if we don't get to resolve those feelings of inferiority, which we can feel time and again, it can get to a point, as I said, where it shapes how we view ourselves. And one of the biggest things that we can ever see is that when a person is feeling inferior, they tend to pass on that feeling of inferiority to other people. Either in relationships, they are going to choose people who are the same level with them, so that they can identify, oh, I'm going to choose people who in my head are lowly. These are the people that I can fit in. Sometimes that can mean that we are going to purposefully choose people who we know are lower than us, such that when we have chosen them, then we can do stuff that makes us better than them, and then we feel superior than them, without actually realizing that can turn into a toxic way where, it can really spiral out of control. And then, when I look at my notes, sometimes what we can, when we choose people who are the same level with us, a lot of times in such relationships, you'd hear people saying stuff like, wena kana mmata re tshwana ka se, nna re ba ba ko tlase tota, re ba ba palolang lefatshe le re tlhobogile, which means that person is actually saying, when I view myself and I view you, we are the lower version. Go to you identify yourself with a certain level of you are not as good as, so you are less than. Sometimes when we feel superior than others, we choose relationships where we can feel that, no, I'm better than this person in this thing. You can hear people saying stuff like, wana matala ha bana re tshwana yana, mme nna ke botoka mo wena ka se. So you are basically saying that I am alike you in this, but I'm better because. So those are things that you can actually get in relationships. When, as I said, it goes on and it's not resolved, it can actually destroy the quality of relationships that we have. And the thing is that when we make other people feel inferior, when we feel inferior, it's so easy to make other people feel the way that we are feeling. And then it can go on, and it doesn't make the quality of our relationships nice. So that's what we can, at the end of the day, see some of the things appearing like. And then one of the other main things is we can get to a point where we ultimately believe that we do not deserve good things. Good things are only for other people, and that we cannot attain them, we cannot have them. And that really limits us in terms of actually going for our goals, in terms of going for the things that we really do want. We're always going to be kept back by that fear. We're going to be kept back by that belief that I don't deserve good things. So, as I said, this is just information that I thought could be helpful to anyone out there. If you identify that this is a struggle for you, then I encourage you to look for somebody, a trained professional who can help you in overcoming these feelings. I hope that you enjoyed the video. Please, if you do, give it a thumbs up, comment in the comment section, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much, and I'm very sorry for taking this long, but bye.